If you have ADHD or you're a sensitive creative like me and you have a full life, a second job, building a business, maybe kids, all of the things, then this is probably going to be familiar. Your home gets messy, you have a crazy, chaotic week, things pile up, life happens, and suddenly your whole space feels too overwhelming to even know where to begin. But here's the part that nobody talks about. The reason that most of us stay stuck isn't the mess. It's the pressure that we put on ourselves to clean it perfectly. That pressure will shut you down every single time. So in this video, I'm going to give you the ADHD-friendly tricks and tips that I do to help me tackle my space when things have piled up and I feel overwhelmed and overstimulated and I don't know where to begin. So I've been saving a mess so that I could clean it on camera over the last couple of days. So things have piled up around here. So stick around through the end of this video and I will show you how this works and how I do it in real time. So the first tip that I have for you is to use a visual timer. Nothing helps my brain get out of shutdown mode faster than putting constraints on the time that I have to do a task that otherwise I wouldn't actually enjoy doing. When I know there's a specific start and end time to tackling something, I know that there will be an end in sight. Even if I don't get it all done, I give myself the permission to only work for as long as I set the timer. I like to use a visual timer that I can carry around with me from room to room, but of course your iPhone or a cell phone will work perfectly. If you have an Alexa or a Google Home system, you can ask it to set a 15-minute timer. And if you're feeling really overwhelmed or your energy is particularly low that day, you can always set the timer to be 5 minutes instead or 10 minutes. Do what you feel like you have the capacity to do. Most people assume that it's motivation they need, but really what you need is momentum. So the timer will help you to break the paralysis so that you can get started and start to build that momentum. A little spark is all you'll need to get yourself going. And the funny thing is, once I get started and I set a 15-minute timer, what usually happens is I end up going for 18 or 20 minutes because I'm so close to having the job done, I'd rather just finish it off. But if I am not feeling well that day or I'm really stuck for time, I will stick to the timer limit that I've set and walk away from it guilt-free, knowing that I can come back to it later and set another timer for myself and finish the job then. But the timer tip only works because of the next thing. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong. So tip 2 is to let it be enjoyable. ADHD brains need dopamine. And if the task itself doesn't offer any, then you need to add it. So I like to pair house cleaning or any chore that's undesirable for me with something that I actually enjoy. For me, that usually looks like listening to a podcast that I've been saving, or watching an episode on Netflix that I've been into, or watching some shows that I've saved on YouTube. This tip makes it feel like I'm not just cleaning to clean anymore. I'm listening to something I enjoy or watching something I enjoy while my hands stay busy. It helps to lower the resistance instantly. But it's truly the next mindset shift, the real reason why my home doesn't feel so impossible anymore. Tip 3, the 70% rule. The biggest mistake that people make, especially sensitive, overwhelmed creatives, is believing that their home care and their home maintenance and cleaning their home needs to be done perfectly. It needs to be clean from top to bottom in order to feel a sense of achievement or satisfaction to be able to relax in their space. And that belief creates paralysis. So my rule is 70%. 70% is functional. 70% is calm enough, 70% is sustainable. On overwhelmed days, I only focus on the things that bring the greatest sensory relief. For me, I need clean counters, I need clean floors, meaning no crumbs when I'm walking around or nothing feeling sticky under my feet, and I need visual breathing room, so not a lot of things that are out of place just left out and about. I don't need to scrub baseboards, I don't need to dust shelves and make sure that my home is perfectly clean top to bottom in order to feel good in my space. So don't aim for Instagram curated level of home cleaning or a Pinterest perfect look. aim to have your space at about 70%. So think about what are the sensory things that really overwhelm you. I'm okay if I leave dishes out on the counter as long as my countertops are clean and a lot of the visual clutter in my space has been picked up. If there are dishes that are in the sink and I know I can get to them later, I'm okay with that. Some people cannot handle dishes in their sink. So for you, that could be one of the things that overwhelms you sensory wise that you might want to make sure that you're going to handle first when it comes to cleaning your space if you have a short amount of time. For most of us, 70% is going to be good enough. There will be times later for the deep cleaning. There will be times when you do need to scrub the baseboards or get down on your hands and knees to clean the grout. But for everyday upkeep, that isn't necessary at all. So don't hold yourself to a standard of perfection. It will only keep you paralyzed and overwhelmed. So this next tip is the stair basket or the catch-all bin. This is one of my favorites. I live in a very narrow, tall, 3-story townhouse, which means a lot of things that have a home end up on our main floor, which is our main living space. So for example, kids' toys, their bedrooms are on the second floor, so they'll often end up on the main floor, or clothes and things like that need to go in the laundry room is on the second floor, or things in my bedroom, which is on the third floor. They will often end up in our main space on the main floor. So instead of running around and feeling super overwhelmed about having to bring everything back to their space and put it back in its home, I keep a basket on the stairs. If it doesn't belong on the main floor, it goes in the basket. This helps to reduce decision fatigue, stops the constant task switching, which can eat up a lot of mental bandwidth, and it helps to keep me anchored to the task at hand rather than wandering off all over the place, forgetting what I'm doing, wasting a lot of time that I honestly don't have. Regardless of the kind of home that you live in, the basket can work in so many instances. If you have a countertop that often gets filled with a lot of clutter, if you live with other people, you're not sure whether or not you can throw it out, if it needs to go in the bin, if it needs to be saved, or you're not sure where to put it, get them a basket, get them a catch-all bin so that you can put all of their things in one place. They can be responsible for cleaning it out and finding a home for the things or recycling it or throwing it in the garbage if it needs to go there. But at least you have it up and off of your counter space or up off the floors if you find yourself constantly picking up all of these little things and not sure what to do with it. You can implement this basket system or the catch-all bin if you have a home where your kitchen is at one end and all your bedrooms are in the back, or you have a basement and an upstairs. You can still easily implement the basket system to help you store things that need to go back into their place rather than having to spend a lot of time doing it. I'll keep the basket at the bottom of my stairs, and then when I pass by it, I will look in and see if there's anything that I can carry up. If I'm going to the laundry room and I see something in there that goes to the laundry room, I can take it with me. Or sometimes I'll let it pile up for a few days and then I'll just carry the basket with me and I'll spend a few minutes just putting everything back in its place. But even with all of these ADHD-friendly tips that I have shared, there's one more tip that I have for you that really helps all of this stick. Tip 5, reward your brain. Give yourself an incentive. A reset needs a reward, something small that your brain can look forward to when the cleaning is done. It could be watching a show, it could be reading a chapter in your book, it could be scrolling Instagram or YouTube guilt-free. It could be enjoying a yummy snack or a glass of wine or a nice cup of tea. A clear reward gives your brain a finish line, something to look forward to when it's done. It brings comfort to the task and turns the reset into something you can actually follow through on. Okay, so now I've given you all of the tips. I hope that you have found something here to help you get over the hump of getting started when things pile up and you feel overwhelmed and overstimulated and you're not sure where to start. So now let me show you what this looks like in real time. So first of all, I'll give you a little snapshot of what the mess looks like. Don't judge me. Well, it's okay if you judge me. I'm judging myself. It's bad. But I'm going to set a 15-minute timer for myself, and I'm going to walk you through how I would handle a very messy, overwhelming space when I don't know where to get started. Remember, the goal here is not to do it perfectly, not to have this perfectly curated home, but to make your space breathable and functional again. Okay, so here we are in my very messy kitchen. And as you can see, things have piled up. This has been about 2 to 3 days worth of really non-cleaning. We had a few really busy days last week where we were in and out and not home very much. And when we were preoccupied with other things. So things really piled up. I don't normally let it get to this state. I would normally have had it cleaned a lot sooner than this. However, I wanted to record this video to kind of show you what my process looks like and how I would tackle a huge, overwhelming mess. Because let's face it, life happens and these things, sometimes things pile up. So, as you can see, this is an overhead shot of my very dirty countertops. There are lots of pots and pans and dishes that need to be put away and cleaned and washed. So things got very out of hand and I was feeling very overwhelmed to start. Okay, so now we are going to set a 15-minute timer. I usually just use my Google Home app to set a timer or I'll put it on my phone. I like to have something with me though that I hear the sound. The first thing that I always do when I have a huge, overwhelming mess is I'll just start picking up anything that really doesn't belong in the space. So for me, that is trash, recycling, anything that needs to go in the compost. I'll just start clearing off all of the counters so that I can then get to the what needs to be taken care of, like cleaning the dishes, putting dishes away in the dishwasher. So I'll just start taking things out that don't belong.
Honey, put your phone down.
Okay, we've got about 4 minutes left on my timer. Things got a little haywire. I was just about to hit record and my kids came home from school. I thought that they were going to be at their dad's. So there was a little bit of a mix up, but I had to get this video recorded. So I couldn't leave the mess any longer. It was driving me mad. So the other thing, I was recording and I didn't know that my battery died. So I have no idea where this video cut off. I'm going to try to splice it together and do a time lapse and walk you through it as best I can, knowing that it's probably going to be a little rough. But what I thought what I would do right now is just kind of show you how far I got in 11 minutes, what I was able to achieve in 11 minutes. I am nowhere near done, but I will say that I do have the momentum to keep going. Now that I see a pretty big dent in the space, I've gotten over the hardest part, which is starting the task and getting some momentum going. I'm going to show you where I've ended up and I'm going to continue going. I'm going to set the timer for another 10 minutes and see what else I can achieve. What I would say to you is if you are really strapped for time, you're going to find the biggest pain points first and tackle those. Maybe it's just picking up all of the visual clutter. Maybe it's just loading the dishwasher and getting all the dishes off the counter. If you have 15 minutes or you only have 10 minutes and you have to stop when the timer is done, deal with the most pressing things first, knowing that you can repeat these steps when you do want to come back to it later. Okay, so let me show you what I have done so far. And hopefully this all comes together in the editing phase because I've never done a video like this and I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, first of all, I apologize for the poor quality video. This is a quick snapshot of the before and after, not a huge transformation here. So I've set a timer for 10 more minutes. I'll probably end up going for about 15, but we'll see where I end up because I really want to get my space to about 70%.
Honey, put your phone down. I know you've been hurting. This spiral's a lonely road.
Okay, so the second timer of 10 minutes, it just went off. So we're at a total of 25 minutes. I didn't get everything done, but I am very close to the 70% mark of what is 70% in my world. For you, it might be a little different. I'll kind of show you what that looks like. I'm going to set one more timer for 5 minutes. So that's going to bring me up to a total of 30 minutes. And then I'm going to stop there. So I was able to get all the dishes done. I've been able to get the counters mostly cleaned off. The final piece for me to get my home back to about 70% is to clean off all of the counters, to wipe off any sticky bits, anything that's kind of gross, really wipe down any of the flat surfaces. And I'm gonna do a quick vacuum of the space. I do have some dishes and things left in the sink that I will reload when the dishwasher is done running its load. And I have some pots and pans left to clean, but I just put it all in the sink for now so it's out of sight, and it helps to reduce the visual clutter. But I know that I'll come back to it later, maybe during dinner time when I have a little bit more time. So this video, I'm probably not recording it the best way that I could to kind of show you, but I hope that you get the idea. This was a really big job, so it's really overwhelming if you have to tackle it all in one go. And let's be honest, most of us are really busy with kids, jobs, everything else, running our businesses. We don't always have time to just sit down and clean for an hour or two. Ideally, in an ideal world, we don't let it pile up so that it's so overwhelming, but you know, life happens, kids get sick, you have a busy week, you have an off week, you're not feeling your best. So hopefully these tips today have helped you kind of get the momentum going and get your place back to a place where you can relax and feel a little bit more sane, and to reduce the overwhelm and the chaos for you. Okay, so let me take you on, it's a little close. Let me take you on a quick tour, I guess. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with where we've ended up. I've been going now for about 25 minutes. I plan to go for one more final 5-minute push to bring me up to a total of 30 minutes. And I just have a few final things left to do, like getting some vacuuming done and picking up a few final odds and ends that I didn't get to. The dishes that are left in the sink, I know that I will come back to them later in the evening or the next morning. 5 minutes on the timer. Okay, clock starts now.
Honey, put your phone down. I know you've been hurting. This spiral's a lonely road. Take my hand and listen. Maybe one day you'll cross paths and you both got.
Okay, that was a lot of work. That was more work than I thought. I knew it was a big job, but I was able to get it to 70%, at least a place where I'm not as overwhelmed. There's still a lot of little things to deal with. There's still some bins that I need to take care of, and I'll get to those over the weekend. But for now, I'm happy with kind of where we ended up. As you can see, it is not picture perfect. It's not Pinterest perfect. It is just sustainable enough that I can relax a little in my space. I'm not so overwhelmed and so overstimulated. So hopefully that gave you a realistic look. I probably ended up somewhere around 35 minutes. It's hard to tell because I was stopping and pausing so much with the camera. So if I wasn't filming, I probably could have done it easily in 30 minutes. I don't know. It kind of got a little iffy with recording, but that's where we ended up. So now my reward is I'm going to sit on the couch. I'm just going to put my feet up for a few minutes. I'm going to go and just relax and probably get myself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And then I am going to go and hang out with my kids who've been home eagerly waiting for me to finish this up. Okay, I'm ready to show you the after. It's not perfect, it's not magazine worthy, but it feels like my space again. It feels like I can breathe and be creative and function in my space without feeling too overwhelmed and overstimulated that it's impacting my mood or how I feel in my space. And that, for me, is the entire point. And if your life feels overwhelming and you're craving a soft, grounded reset for both your home, your creative life, and your business, then please hit subscribe and follow along. I would love to have you on this journey with me. So just remember, your home doesn't have to be perfect to support you or to feel like a loving, calm sanctuary. It just needs to give you enough space to breathe and enough clarity so that you can begin again. I hope this helps you feel a little lighter today. I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.
Honey, put your phone down. I know you've been hurting. This